are finally going to make a start on this bad boy, or should we call them these bad boys. But this is going to be the one that goes on the road, carrying that number plate, this frame. Best part of both bikes, I think we spoke about it earlier. The Chinese piece of crap still sitting here, as you can see. Got a new carb on order, I think I said so. Really don't want that fucking thing, it's a heap of shit. I think it's near enough MOT ready, I just don't like it. And if anyone wants to kick me an offer on it, it's yours. Right, this hasn't been started for 2 or 3 weeks at least. Do you know what, I like that black screen. That cleans up nice. I'm going to have that on the finished bike. Don't like these chintzy red screws, they're a bit gay. So anyway, first thing, like I said, it's not been started for 3 weeks. Let's see if it actually will. Choke. That is, you know, it's on choke at the moment. Yeah. That train's hooked. Yeah, look. So what I'm going to start with, and I haven't got a real plan, but I want to strip all the bodywork off it, and before I actually remove the engine, well that will tick over now, just about, yeah, anyway, turn it on, I don't want it to get too hot. Yeah, I'm going to strip the bodywork off it, tank and everything. And then before I actually pull the engine out, I want to do a compression check on it. Just see how healthy the engine is. I don't really want to be tearing into this engine unless I'm absolutely forced. So we'll take the engine out, and I'm hoping I can get away with just a clean up and a paint. And back in the frame. The frame looks like someone's painted it with a stick or a yard brush. That belly pan's got to come off as well, and that's broke. I broke that bringing it off the trailer. I've got another one, obviously off the other bike, but that's not much better either, although it's the right colour. So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'd be able to cut a piece out and patch it in, and probably get some close matching paint from Halfords. Don't know, we'll see. It's all way in the future. Look at the grime and shite in that. So yeah, I am not going to film each and every aspect of tearing this bike down. It just take me too long. So we'll dip you in and out, and we'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll do it, and then we'll come back again, and I'm going to start by removing that belly pan. Right, so that was like a 2-minute job, nothing whatsoever holding it at the back, which is why it probably dropped down and caught on my trailer. Bodged up cable tie there. Apart from that bottom section, it's in quite good condition. Unfortunately, it's the bottom section on the other one that's fucked as well, so that's probably an ongoing issue. This is how I'm going to strip the bike down. Each time I take a part off, I will label it if it's not obvious what it is. I mean, it's obvious that's the belly pan, so I won't bother. and then the screws will be bagged up, belly pan screws. And then we've got some of these plastic boxes here, and we just stack everything in. There is some parts there from the other one, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's how we're going to proceed the teardown. Space is not my friend, as you can see. I haven't got a lot of room in here, so we've got to sort of stack stuff wherever we can get it. So yes, onwards and upwards. Right, there it is then. She's beginning to come apart. Be nice to get all this manky old paint off here and have that powder coated. Don't know if I'm going to go to that expense yet, but you never know. And I'm sure that shouldn't be flapping about like that either. Anyway, this is the side panels. I don't think I'm going to be reusing these because they're pretty fucked. Having said that, I can't even remember what condition the blue ones are in. The rear tail section's got a broken off piece of plug in there, the bit there, the brackets, the plug things that go on here. So I could araldite that back on if necessary. I am leaving big chunks of it intact like that. I'm not going to strip that light out yet. A, because I don't think I'm going to use it. B, you don't need to take them apart in more pieces than you need to, because it just gets confusing. If I was to reuse that, I would leave it complete until such time as I need it, and then I'll tear it apart and refurb it, so we're not getting too many bits and pieces laying about. But yeah, she's coming apart. I'm looking forward to getting this down to a bare frame, actually, because once we're down to a bare frame, we've effectively turned the corner, and we're starting going in the other direction, if you know what I mean. Right, work to do. Carry on. Right, this is how far we got. Tank off, rear end off. I need to get that front end off as well, but I do want to compression test it. And as you can see, I've got my compression tester set up on cylinder number 2. Now, the spark plugs are a little bit manky, I'll be honest with you. We'll have to replace them, but the colour on the end I'm not too unhappy with. Seems to be fine to me. Not that I'm a mechanic, never claimed to be, probably never will. Anyway, let's see A, what the compression is, and B, more importantly in some cases, whether it's even. So we can get it in a way where you can see it. I think you can. Right, throttle wide open, ignition on, that'd help, wouldn't it? So, let's see what we got here. Well, I ain't disappointed with that, as long as the other one's the same. What's that, 160? 165? Yeah. Something that come up on another channel as well was that whether it's valid to sit there, wait, see if that loses pressure. It never will, and the reason it never will is because of that one-way valve there. Even if I disconnected that from the head, that would still hold that pressure until such point as I press that button and release the one-way valve. So, right, let me turn the camera off and get it set up on the other piston, other cylinder rather. It's a bit fiddly to do, so I'll turn the camera off, set it up and bring you back. We're set up on cylinder number 1. Let's see if we've got a similar reading. Okay, I'm not sure if that's anything I should worry about. They're not even. I'm getting about 127, 128 as against 165. Someone in the comments tell me, should I be worried about that? If they were both 125, I'd probably say yeah, it's a bit worn, but that's fine. But the fact that one's 165 and one's about 127, 130, should we say? So I've got about 130 as against 165. Let me know what you think, guys. Should that be something I need to worry about? I think I will probably have to take the same advice I gave to Nat on Nat's Knackers Yard the other day. Probably put a leak down tester on it. I'm sure I've got one. I know I bought one, but where the fuck it is? Yeah, it is on there somewhere. Yeah, anyway, that's not something I'm going to concern myself too much about. It's not going to stop me carrying on stripping the bike. But we have got a bit of unevenness there on the old compression. Your thoughts, please. Right, front fairings off. Just got to get this this bracket here. If I do go for this powder coating malarkey, I mean, I could include. Mind you saying that, you don't see it. If I was to give that a thorough rub down and a coat of good quality black paint, that'll probably do. I need to keep the bill down on the old powder coating, assuming I even go for it. These gaiters always bother me. Why would someone put gaiters on? Two reasons: one, to protect them; two, to hide damage. And I think in this case I might be lucky, because they don't look bad. Oh, I can't pull that fucking thing back up now. Get up there, you bastard. Yeah, we'll leave them like that for the time being. Yeah, the old nose cone there, as said previously, I'm not going to be using this, I don't think, but I do like this blacked out screen. So as long as that cleans up all right, I'm going to put that on the blue bodywork. So yeah, I've been having a few of my own thoughts regarding this compression down on one cylinder. It might be something simple as valves need adjusting, so I will do that at a later date. However, if it's not, and it's something more serious, I'm probably just going to run with it for the time being. The reason being, I have no intention whatsoever of selling this bike. This is going to be my keeper. So if I'm running it with compression down on one cylinder and it's just for me, I'm not ripping anybody off. It's me. I'm ripping myself off. And then maybe it's something I can address at a later date. Don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Another school of thought is, you've got the engine out on a bench, you might as well just put the fucking thing right. Do the pistons, rings, head gasket and everything. So I don't know. Anyway, let's do some more teardown. Right, we're going to wrap it up in a minute. Just trying to get this back end off before I do. So what I'm also doing as I disassemble, I'm just taking loads of photos. And if I'm not sure whether I should take a photo or not, I'll take a photo anyway. No such thing as too many photos. Right, I'll disconnect all this shite now. green to, see, that's the sort of thing you'd need a photo for. Green to red and grey. How the fuck would I even know that when it comes to putting it back together? But as well as the photos, I also have the advantage of having another bike to refer to, i.e. my parts bike. So that's that off. I know I'm not going into an awful lot of detail here about taking things off. I'm sort of taking a part off and then bringing you back and saying, oh look, I've took a part off. I will go into a lot more detail when I go to put it all back together again, because each part will be cleaned, painted, restored, although the word restored in its loosest possible context. Right. So we're not going for a Concord Resto here. It's just hopefully a well sorted, rust free bike. So, with this number plate light off. We're going to call it a day in a minute. I've got work tomorrow. I've got to prep for that. Yeah, it's a bit naff, isn't it? But it is what it is. Get them rubber bungs off as well. Oh, there's one missing there. Right. Let me finish off and then we'll turn the camera back on and show you what we're finished with. So that's what we got, disorganised chaos all piled up there. We've got bolts and fixings and everything all bagged and marked up, so we should have some rough idea of how to put it back together, although there's an awful lot more to come apart. There it is. With these bikes, what is quite a good idea, and it's common to the ER5 as well, because this is more or less an ER5, but there's two bolts there and two bolts there, which removes this whole side of that cradle, and that's a damn good idea because it gives you enough room to pull the engine out from the side, or even lay the bike over on its side and lift the frame off the engine. I don't know. We'll worry about that when we come to it. I've never removed an engine from an ER5 or a GPZ500 for that matter. Although I have heard horror stories of that frame if you leave it off too long or something, the frame can distort. I don't know if it's probably a load of bullshit, but who knows. But most of the arse end is stripped and gone. The wiring loom will probably be the last thing I'll take off. I don't know. But yeah, she's coming apart. This is what I wanted her to do, and here we are doing it. Right then guys, until the next time, cheerio.